Look, when you're 20, your post-boxing recovery plan can literally consist of a double cheeseburger and maybe 4 hours of sleep, right? And somehow you wake up ready to go another 10 rounds. But at 40? Man, it is a completely different universe. At 40, just glaring at a heavy bag a little too aggressively can somehow trigger this lingering phantom shoulder injury you got back in 2018. It's funny, for sure, but it perfectly sets the stage for the massive adjustments we have to make as we age.
Section 1. The Aging Fighter's Reality.
And this is where we really have to confront the hard truth about time and human biology. But here's the empowering takeaway we get from the source material. Hitting your 40s absolutely is not a death sentence for physically demanding sports, not at all. Instead, it acts as the strict catalyst. It forces you to realize that you cannot train at 40 exactly the way you did at 20 without, well, completely destroying your body. To survive, you have to make 3 massive non-negotiable shifts. And spoiler alert, these shifts are all about replacing youthful chaos with calculating surgical intelligence.
Section 2. Managing your boxing ego.
Now, this first shift is almost entirely psychological, and honestly, for anyone with an ounce of pride, it's usually the hardest one to conquer. It demands that you trade raw, chaotic volume for absolute, calculated efficiency. When you're 20, your endless physical engine is basically a cheat code. You can throw wild combos, miss 5 punches, take 2 on the chin, and still win just because you have the cardio to throw 80 more. But at 40, I love this analogy from the source. Your gas tank is no longer an infinite resource, it is a tightly managed bank account. Every single missed punch is a massive cash withdrawal that you simply cannot afford. You have to start treating your physical energy as a premium currency.
Which requires an exact psychological pivot. We're juxtaposing the youthful, ego-driven desire to dominate through pure, overwhelming athleticism with the mature necessity of strategy. Think about it. The 20-year-old mindset asks, how many punches can I land? But the 40-year-old mindset asks something entirely different. It asks, how little movement can I use to make them miss? And how devastating can my one perfectly planned counterpunch be? You literally stop trying to outwork your opponent and you start trying to outthink them.
To actually achieve that efficiency, you've got to learn to love the boring stuff. We're talking footwork, head movement, distance management. When you're younger, these are kind of an afterthought to just throwing heavy leather. But at this age, defense isn't just about avoiding a knockout punch. It is about aggressively conserving the precious energy required to make it to the final bell. Really excellent distance management means your opponent wastes their energy swinging at thin air, while you stay perfectly composed and ready to strike.
Section 3. The Active Recovery Tax.
So moving into the second shift, we have to look at what happens outside the ring. Because how you treat those other 22 hours of the day when you aren't in the gym dictates absolutely everything about the 2 hours you are in it. In your 20s, recovery happens automatically. Your cells are virtually vibrating with growth hormone, letting you abuse your body and still perform the next day. But at 40, recovery transforms into this active, unrelenting discipline. It doesn't just magically happen while you're sitting on the couch watching TV. If you don't actively intervene, your performance drops exponentially by the very next session.
So, the crucial point here is understanding what the source calls the 40-year-old tax. First up, sleep is a weapon. The rule here is strict. Less than 7 hours means no sparring. 0. The reaction time delay is simply way too dangerous. Second, mobility is non-negotiable. For every 60 minutes of gym work, you match it with 20 minutes of dynamic stretching and tissue work. And third, nutrition becomes fuel, not fun. You aren't eating to get full, you are eating specifically to reduce systemic inflammation so your joints don't feel like rusted gears the next morning.
Section 4. Boxing IQ beats Raw Reflexes.
And this brings us to the absolute core focus of our explainer today, the third shift. This is where the older, wiser fighter holds an undeniable, massive advantage over the younger one. When you're young, fighting is often treated like this chaotic action movie scene. You just want the drama, the heavy trades, the flashy combinations. But at 40, you completely stop playing Street Fighter and you start playing neural chess. It becomes this high-stakes mental puzzle where you are trading in chaotic, split-second physical reactions for clinical anticipation and overarching strategy.
You suddenly realize that your declining reflexes aren't actually a limitation at all, they're an evolution. Because you can no longer rely on cat-like reflexes to bail you out of terrible positioning, you are forced to become a master of anticipation. Actually, scratch that. You don't just anticipate, you dictate. You stop trying to blindly speed past a younger opponent's guard, and you start actively thinking your way right through it. You realize that speed means absolutely nothing if you already know exactly where your opponent is going to be before they even twitch.
Mastering this anticipation means intensely observing the microscopic details that younger fighters just ignore. You start reading their body language 2 steps ahead. You notice that tiny pre-jab shoulder dip. You realize that throwing a specific feint to the liver manipulates your opponent into opening their high guard every single time. This right here is exactly how boxing IQ dismantles raw reflexes. You take the grueling physical chore of combat and you turn it into a brilliant mental puzzle. A puzzle where your intellect and experience trap their speed and youth in a corner they just can't escape from.
Section 5. Outsmarting Father Time.
Which brings us to the big, empowering takeaway of today's explainer. The message from our source material is loud and clear. You cannot outrun time, but you can absolutely outsmart it. If you're sitting on the couch right now in your 30s, your 40s, or even your 50s, thinking your window to learn physically demanding skills has slammed shut, you are flat out wrong. Your time hasn't passed. You just have to change the rules of how you play the game. You trade ego for efficiency, you treat recovery like a religion, and most importantly, you let your mind become your primary weapon.
So, I want to leave you with a direct challenge, inspired by the source material we've explored today. How will you change the rules to outsmart time in your own journey?